right. Well, Cheryl, thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you for inviting me.
We really appreciate your being willing to sit down and speak with us, and we applaud your decision to run for City Council.
Thank you.
My name is Soraya Queen Tabor, and I am a Heights resident and have been since December of 1990 in the Coventry neighborhood. And I've joined Step It Up, and we've all joined Step It Up as a way of being citizens passionate about our community, and we have great aspirations for what it could be. We'd like to know a little bit more about your views of the city, and we're going to begin by asking you what excites you about Cleveland Heights' future, and what more could Cleveland Heights do to make our community one of the best suburbs in the nation?
What excites me about Cleveland Heights in general, and I hope it will continue to be part of its future, is its foundation in diversity. I am one of the fortunate few that my father is retired military, so I didn't think there was a word for the fact that people had mothers who were from different countries and fathers who didn't look like each other, and that there was kind of this virtual vegetable garden of people at any base that we lived on. And so after my father retired and I became an adult and had to find places to live myself, I looked at some of the places I lived, and I'm like, I was in Columbus and I thought it was homogenized. That's not Cleveland Heights, and I want to make sure with my investment in the community that we don't have a homogenized community, that we do enjoy the diversity of thought and skill sets and histories of people that help us understand things better and make us richer. The primary investment I want to make in this community is that I have these skill sets in community and economic development and government finance, and the ability to try and problem solve and find answers that solve things. If you tell me you're short on money, I try to figure out how to make what we have work more, or find other sources, the state, the feds. For my employment, I do that for a living. It's my job to go out and see whether my calculator will work anywhere they send me, convince people to provide additional money, or find ways to make the money that we have work harder or more expansively for us. And so, given that the economy has failed us, that major investments were not done well in this country, that the banking industry really isn't the best industry to lead us into the future, we have to make some reasonable, decent, hard choices here locally. And one of the things that is sometimes very difficult for Americans to do, that is to step out of our individual comfort zones and volunteer to do the hard job, which is to make good government better. All my life, all my adult life rather, I've cared about three things: my immediate family, good government, and finding a cure for breast cancer. So that's it. That's what I focus on. And so because of that, I'm taking the time now to put my money where my mouth is and make an effort to become a member of council.
Okay. Well, those are the positive aspects of our city, but you know, our city has many problems. It's the nation. And we have a reality check from one of our members. This is a quote from her. My house was broken into. 5 vacant houses are on my street, and they are the site of vandalism and squatters. My property value has gone down dramatically, and a number of nearby storefronts are empty. I also pay high taxes for a street with more potholes and diminished city services. Our question is, why should she stay?
Moving away, many residents vote with their feet. Yeah, that's a cliche that's been used at it for as long as I can remember. But change does not come by walking away. And there are problems in other communities. As idealized as Solon and Twinsburg are, they are not perfect. The way to change a community is to continue to invest in making sure that your elected officials pay attention to the needs of the community. It is by stepping out into the street when you see kids who are acting in behavior that's delinquent preliminarily. They're out there late, they're making noise. As an adult, sometimes we have to step out of our individual comfort zones again and say something to them like, why aren't you inside? Do you understand that your noise is disturbing the neighbors? It's after 11 o'clock. It's probably appropriate for you to, and these were tough things for me to say the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Or I was in the main library here in Cleveland Heights, and these kids came in very, very noisy. They disturbed everyone on half of the floor. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, this is a library. You need to be quiet. And all these older ladies, well, I didn't think about saying that. I'm like, it's our place too.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we have to try and figure out logical pathways to get those things done. I have heard from several folks, and because of what I had heard, it was that there are two Cleveland Heights. There's one that's less safe north of Mayfield, and there's one that's more safe south of Mayfield. So in getting my petition signed, I decided to go north of Monticello.
Mm-hmm.
And to walk streets where people had told me that there were statements like that one. And so I heard from people firsthand that they weren't pleased with the quality of service that they received or how long it took for the police to respond. Some of those things are relative. Having been a public servant for almost 25 years now, and having interacted with both the police and the FBI, our response time on average here is significantly lower than 3/4 of the balance of the county. But that may not be good enough in some instances, and I'm aware of that. But what we have to begin to do is educate residents on what to expect from the police department and what they have to do to make our community safer too. And some of those things are by making sure that when you see a home where young people are by themselves a lot, or even if they're over the age of consent 21, that they start to have parties that are large and disturbing. I know off of Rushley about a month ago, it turned into a near riot, and neighbors called the police. They didn't just close their windows and turn the music up.
Mm-hmm.
That was the appropriate thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Other neighbors walked out into the street, both husband and wife, and said to some of the kids, you need to go home.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't live on this street, go home. Those are the kinds that we have to responsibly treat other people. We can't make prejudgments about why they're on the street, but there are certain times when they interfere with your right to privacy and quiet enjoyment of your home. And with the safety issues of vandalism, sometimes when people are circling the block or walking, you report them. You don't just let them go on by. It is a case of some things we need to have the police do more of and explain themselves, but other things we need to step up to the table and do it ourselves.